กับเจเนพราวมัว
โดนหาที่เองนะ โอ้ข้าพร้อมอยู่
เจ้าได้ยินเสียงเรียกหรือไม่ ฟังดีๆสิ
ความเจ็บปวดกระซิบกับข้า เสร็จแล้ว
กระดูนเป็นโรคให้ข้า วันหนึ่งข้าจะเป็นอย่างท่าน
เสร็จแล้ว
พร้อมแล้ว
พวกมันไม่ทันรู้ตัวแล้ว
ให้ข้าจุดไฟให้มา
เสร็จแล้ว
ใช่
ข้ามอบชีวิตนักรบ
ไก่ย่างเผา
อัศจรรย์มากเจ้าชนะ
Volcano พบกับอูเทอร์
ถ้าจะสู้อย่างมีเกียรติ
โดนหาที่เองนะ เอาไงดีเอาไงดี
บ่อน้ำสุริยะจะต้องบริสุทธิ์
นี่คือแสนยานุภาพแห่งสตอร์มวิน
แบบนี้ดีนะ
ลบหลังข้าเลย
เ อัศจรรย์มาก เจ้าชนะ
พบกับอันดุิน
แสงสว่างจะนำเราสู่ชัยชนะ
โดนหาที่เองนะ
มีคนเจ็บไหม
มีใครเรียกหมอไหม
Welcome to Rio de Janeiro's Jeunesse Arena, the newest home to the 2017 Mid-Season Invitational. Define Faker!
Oh my god, have they got him? First blood onto Faker! The Nexus is the focus, and SK Telecom stopped their campaign for MSI 2017!
Asa is near the Baron, trying to make it. Maybe make a steal.
Manages to survive a few seconds longer! Nexus turret number 2 is down! The Gigabyte Marines are looking for revenge! The Marines take down TSM!
They're all dead, it's over, and G2 get the comeback upset win over Flash Wolves.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Rio de Janeiro's Jeunesse Arena, home of the 2017 Mid-Season Invitational group stage. Earlier, we got a look at Yasuo cosplaying as he may. Master of Wind and Sword, Draven as well. So plenty of top players making their way to this arena. TSM making their way into the arena just a short time ago. Their first game will be up against SKT. Huni and the rest of the crew also entering moments ago. They're running up on stage as we speak. And let's talk about this. Things started off with a bang on opening day, but the competition is still heating up as the league leaders from around the world get back on Summoner's Rift. Hello, I'm James Dash Patterson with my trusted analysts, Indiana Frosker and Black, Chris Papa Smithy Smith, and Sam Kobe Hartman Kenzar. I'm waiting for them to give me some answers that have shorter names than you guys. We traded out one hyphenated name for another, but Kobe, it's good to have you. How you doing today?
Yeah, extending the desk once again. I feel like we are so far away, but we still have the connection.
That's right, we got that NA connection. How are you two doing, Back and ready for another day of action?
Yeah, feeling good, subbing in for Deficio, not feeling up to the task today. Maybe just still in the celebration phase. I'm seeing G2 win yesterday.
Yeah, they snuck one in there yesterday.
Not even the win. He was celebrating after the 1,000 gold lead over SKT, and he just went hard.
What more could you ask for, right? All right, well, yesterday each team took to the stage twice, and after 6 matches, here's how they stand. SKT is off to an early 2-0 lead. TSM, Team WE, Gigabyte Marines, and G2 Esports are sitting at 1-1, and that leaves the LMS Flash Wolves at the bottom of the board looking for their first win. Now, based on these results, some of these things look exactly like we expected. Some, not so much. But let's start off with SKT.
I mean, they fly me in 30 hours, tell everyone how good the Korean
Bon,
teams are. I still have a job.
Suria.
Turns out the SKT and the Korean teams are still very good. On the other side of the Flash was when we get to them. That was the other side of the prediction.
Before we do, let's hit those 1-1 teams in the middle of the pack. TSM, there was an expected struggle coming into the tournament, dropping a game to the Gigabyte Marines in that rematch from the play-ins.
Yeah, I mean, people had hope that after their long series versus the Marines and a week of practice, TSM would have fixed a lot of the mistakes that we saw. However, as you can see on display, the individual mistakes as well as the team coordination under pressure, these problems still existed for TSM early on in the day, and those, did not bode well for the team. However, as they went later into the day, after this, they were able to return to their strengths eventually, and the solo lanes come up in their game versus W.
The biggest thing for me was just also the drafting error. Those were just mechanical missteps for TSM and their Gigabyte Marines game that they did fix
โดน
against
หา
Team
ที่
WWE,
เอง
but
นะ
also completely shifting their draft, giving power back to Bjergsen and Panzer rather than playing Cleanse Lulu mid.
Now, the other side of that coin is the Gigabyte Marines, who are playing exactly as we expected. They're running head first into all these teams, showing no fear.
Now, that's not hard. You know, they played exactly as we expected. Like you say, nameplates off all the other memes, but they do it pretty cleanly. They do it convincingly. And they played against SKT later in the day, predictably went down. But it was the sort of defeat where you felt good about both sides. And even Gigabyte Marines, they're going to be looking at their schedule today and thinking, well, it's not SKT. We've definitely got a shot.
Well, they've got plenty of shots for making up for that top four and into the bracket stage. They did get a few surprises. First up, G2 winning over the Flash Wolves, and perhaps the toughest day you can have with SKT and Flash Wolves on the dominant.
Yeah, I mean, in a day where there were, quite a lot of mistakes, I actually felt quite good about G2's performance. Yes, they were expected to get their loss versus SKT, looked good in the beginning there, and then their win versus Flash Wolves, protecting Sven. So much focus from these guys, focusing on that late game, farming till late, and they were able to pull off a crucial team fight around the Baron.
Yeah, 100%. Sven in particular, probably was just having an incredible series, especially that game, and has had an incredible day. But I picked G2 to be my dark horse. I'm glad they didn't let me down. Yeah, it was shaking against SKT, but you know it's going to be a tough road. G2, I think people are still sleeping on them a little bit as they continue deeper into this tournament.
Talk about them being the dark horse. Just yesterday we were talking about the Flash Wolves no longer being a dark horse. They are just straight up contenders, and then they go and drop both of their first games on opening day, so a little bit of a struggle out of that squad.
I mean, you can agree with that, on a simple level. It was only two best of ones. SKT had a hard time in the group stages last year, so we're not really to write off the Flash Wolves, but the areas where we expected improvement, like Betty, for example, stepping up, didn't really see it there, and even some of their staple members. It just felt like the Flash Wolves had a misread in many different areas of the game, and we're looking for them to step up.
Something that we talked against with this team as well was, getting these early leads was all fine and well, but slowing down a little bit when they have the pressure, and they have all these tools that they can use to really turn the screws, might be something that could still haunt them in the play.
Waiting for them to turn on for the rest of the tournament. The last team we got to talk about is Team WE. Interestingly enough, they go 1-1, but in a fashion that we didn't necessarily expect.
I mean, I did expect the TSM to be a hard case for them, just stylistically against WE. They tend to give away early game advantage of that. That said, it's still kind of a question mark. Which team do we get? Are we going to get the early aggressive WE that we know Connie draw? We're going to continue to see what they showcase against TSM.
Absolutely. All right, well, as we look at today's schedule, the question of the day is, will expectations stand, or will things get even more interesting? There are 6 more games on the card, starting in just a few minutes as North America's TSM square off against SK Telecom from Korea. Then the Gigabyte Marines will begin the day against Flash Wolves, and G2 Esports up third against Team WE. A big slate of games coming today, and of course, standings will shift, I'm sure, as we head into the day. I want to know what you guys want to see on stage, given those mistakes you call out, Kobe, from yesterday, littered across really all of the games. What do you want to see cleaned up? What strategies do you want to see come out? What politics haven't been played?
I mean, for me, it's all going to be about the composition. I really love SKT's composition. Galio, triple 80 carry comp. I love how it has so much uptime to play around towers. It's not just reliant on the big cooldown window of Galio's ultimate coming in. I think it just makes him so much more efficient around the map. I wish teams could kind of move away, of relying so heavily on the Ash area. If you miss that cooldown, you're waiting a full minute before you can make action on the map again.
We saw it in G2 versus SKT. Missed arrows meant in action for a very long time.
Honestly, I was the one yesterday to anoint Flash Wolves contenders, and we didn't see that. Honestly, in the first game against WE, you looked at the draft, it was pretty clear that there were some glaring problems there in their second series. It felt like we were back at Worlds 2016 when it came to the inaction around the Baron. So cleaning up the drafting, show us what we saw in the 28-game win streak in the LMS. This needs to be the day where the Flash will step back up, because if there's 0-4 after today, the dreams are kind of dead.
Absolutely, Kobe.
Yeah, I mean, people always caution against the low sample size, but you have to worry if it spans multiple days. For me, very clearly, I am going to be looking at the jungle, and I've seen so much to excite me here at this international tournament. I was really looking for, with the season changes where the camp respawn timers for small camps was increased to 1 minute 40 seconds. It really makes it more strategic about the less resources on the map. So many teams have thought about early jungle clears from the very beginning. Champ select, they're looking for pushing lanes, top lane, 2 minute 40 wards on Krugs. Stuff like this where the mid laner is going to help invade, and those things have really had a dramatic effect on the early game for most of the teams here. Very curious how it does develop, and they prey on those tendencies.
Some things to look for as we get underway. Now, as we send it over to the casters, get us into the action, we'll hear from Sven Skaren, who's eager to test his mettle against SKT's Peanut.
So going up against SKT, I really hope they're gonna put in Peanut because I've never had the chance to play against him on the stage before. I've played against him in strengths before, and I think it was pretty even in terms of the strengths, but he seems really strong on stage because he keeps up the aggressiveness and he doesn't really just scale. So yeah, I'm just excited to finally play against him.
Well, we'll see just how even. Good afternoon, I'm Julian Pastry Time Car here with my partners in crime, Propo Watch and Joshua and Jack Leeman. We're just moments away from pick the band, which is TSM and SKT. TSM yesterday played two different styles. One they knew how to play, and frankly one they didn't.
Yeah, I mean, their victory against Team WE was huge because otherwise they'd be coming in today 0-2 up against SKT, and the success they found with the topside priority is a little bit promising for them, but tough opponent.
Yeah, they need to build on what worked for them, and they need to learn from what didn't, and the problem is that they should have learned already from their previous best of 5 against the Gigabyte Marines, so we're seeing poor adaptation from TSM, but still, if they play towards their strengths, they can still improve it.
We're going to see what happens on the other side, because SKT are currently sitting in first with 2 wins, including a chaotic game against the Gigabyte Marines to finish day 1 with style.
Yeah, and even in the chaotic game that we're calling it, that looked wild, they lost 0 turrets, they lost 0 drakes, and had no barons. That's actually as clean as you're going to get a game that looked so messy.
That's the beauty about SKT.
Always,
well, even when it looks like they're doing a little bit of fan service, joining the TS side, when you take the bigger picture, the side lanes are always taken care of, either slow pushing or close to being fixed. They always have an objective in mind. They don't just fight for the sake of fighting, but if somebody challenges them to a duel, I mean, they'll take you down.
Yeah, and their reputation also precedes them. 3-time world champions. Most people can't remember the last time they lost anything. It's probably their most dominant run in their history, and even just looking at them sitting in their chairs, you get a little bit intimidated. So not only do you have to get over that mental block, you then have to play against the best team.
Yeah, and then we look at team-wise, SKT definitely trumps this. We still have some matchups that everybody knows maybe late game it'll be tough, but seeing Bjergsen face off against Faker, regardless of what's being going on, is for me still super exciting.
It's super cool, and we've hardly ever gotten to see it. They played 1 game against each other in 2015, and 2 games, I don't think we can tell you who won, 2 games at IM Katowice in 2016. Such to say, Faker has never lost to Bjergsen, Bjergsen has never taken down also lost. So, I mean, you have to get past all this just to face us.
Certainly 2 players that do respect his ability. The top lane matchup, however, is one that's actually been played quite a lot. Haunts and Huni played a ton in the NALCS.
This is where you close your eyes and you just pretend we're in North America. This is not SKT Huni, the upgraded one. He's just still a rookie that only plays aggressive, you know, and we'll just take him down.
Yeah, if you're Haunts, you're thinking, take himself back to the 2016 spring playoffs against Immortals. Immortals has not lost, and for some reason, Huni has locked in Lucian top lane. What do? You pick Maokai, and then that's actually where the meme started, was just over a year ago. What's funny about that game is Huni actually had about a 7,000 gold lead as far as Immortals on the team, and then TSM were able to fight. I would love it if SKT actually did pick Lucian in some way in this game, because we've seen Lucian top practice, mid Lucian practice, but we're getting way ahead of ourselves. I can't wait to see that matchup again.
Let's stop the players though. With them all loading in, let's look at the starters. On the blue side of the stage, it's the LCK's SK Telecom T1. In the top lane, it's Huni, jungler Peanut, mid laner Faker, AD carry Bang, support Wolf, and Coach Koma.
So they're going up against what has to be your guys' favorite in this matchup, Team Solo mid here in the top lane. Somebody has to believe. Hanser, Svensk in the jungle, Bjergsen, my European boy right there in the mid lane. Turtle and Bifrost looking for redemption today.
Yeah, even in the game against W where they were victorious, Turtle and Biofrost did not seem in very high spirits. The bottom lane has struggled for even a lot of the spring split in North America and heavily struggled the other.
But I like that you say bottom lane and Turtle and Bifrost, because so often people just, they go straight for Turtle and they put all the blame on him. But it really is a good weapon. Like, you can't play alone, nor can you win the lane as a support solo. And it's also a team game, even when they were kind of playing around Turtle with big quotation marks, because he wasn't getting all the help that he needed. So that's where I feel like TSM is more struggling as a team rather than just.
Well, we'll see what happens here in the drop. SK Telecom on the blue side for this first bout between TSM on the red. Ivern insta-banned by SKT, TSM respond with Graves.
Yeah, I like the Ivern ban so much against TSM. For me, it was actually the most successful pick in their playoffs because it allows Spencer to just go in and very quick and disappear. Now, you would also expect another Lee Sin ban, but the problem is, Peanut is just a monster in the champion.
Yeah, Peanut's still undefeated with Lee Sin in 2017, and that is a champion that you would be willing to first pick. Boom being banned would leave Karma up as a potential first pick if TSM was thinking of those things, but at this point, we still don't know what two bans remain.
SKT, they don't have to lock in the Lee Sin early, but this, as if the pick and ban paces through like this, you'd expect Lee Sin and Karma both to disappear in the respective first rotations.
We'll see what happens if
All I said,
10 seconds. This third ban,
Die.
first pick.
All I said.
Ragus, though, the strongest top
Die.
we've seen in Camping Flex as well.
Yeah, it's one of the things Hansers would think to have the most success on. As much as Hanser has grown in the ability to play carries, TSM still feel the best when Hanser is on tanks, with Maokai and Nautilus being nerfed. Gragas is kind of the top tier in the tank role, so Gragas is a smart ban for SKT.
Especially when we look at the last like 10 or 20 games that Hanser has played, the only carry champion that really popped his head up was Camille. And she has been nerfed, gutted, especially in the melee versus major matchups in this match. He played yesterday, he said play around it, but it was still not enough.
Yeah, agreed. I think that is definitely an option they have, but the Kennen early is still a dangerous pick. I'm interested that they also banned the Karma, really not wanting to give that over, and they're going to have to take their chances against Peanuts Lee Sin.
And the awkward thing here is, what trade do they make now that they've given up the Lee Sin? Because they pretty much saw this coming. TSM can have 7 seconds to do that.
Feel normally here, so you go for an Elise maybe to match the aggression. Maybe if you're also playing Kha'Zix, but I don't see
yeah, Elise could definitely work, or Kha'Zix, because those are kind of the main junglers you pick, a lot of the AD things. I feel like it's interesting that they go with the Varus instead of the Ashe, since so many teams have prioritized Ashe exceedingly highly this tournament.
It helps you in lane though. Varus is a slight lane edge over Ashe in my opinion, so if you're already behind in the early game, you're not going to win, so you need to just boost everything you can early on and hope you get the snowball if you're on the SEM side.
Well, quick picks for SKT. Rumble back for Hoonies. Also bad times for the top half of the map. They're very strong. You can't get locked in quite early here.
Yeah, it does expose you. If you're playing, they probably want to play Ashe later on. Then obviously maybe a time Kench ban away is rough. Maybe this forces TSM now to ban out the Ashe in the second phase. Whenever people bang, it really has not worked out.
No, and they're kind of opting in pretty early to this melee support world. They banned the 2 supports. They also have potential jungle pinches if they didn't have early jungle picks. So a bit of a different support game. You're not seeing anything strange like a Nami or a Bard. They don't want to get pinched out in that here, and they're saving their soul lane picks for the second phase.
But most supports really have deep champion pools, which means you can leave that pick for later. You can actually just straight up counter pick your top lane matchup. When you're going up against a Rumble, there are picks like a Fizz or a Gled, but Hanser has never shown a good Fizz performance. I don't even think he's picked it. He shied away from it a lot in playoffs, so I would have loved way more to see maybe a Fizz top here or a Gled, dumpster that Rumble matchup.
Well, SKT are starting to ban away some top laners. Galio taken by them. TSM do go with the bot lane strategy of banning out the Ashe there. I don't know if they'll go for a second AD here. I'm afraid of some bangs Ezreal, but kind of have to stick to the plan.
The problem is if you ban Ashe, usually you're like, okay, let's ban Ashe and Caitlyn and we get the strongest like poke lane dominant champ. But then you force bang on Ezreal, and you remember the late game why you don't give bang Ezreal.
Well, there's Lucian, so kind of splitting the difference on all those different bot laners here. SKT, see what they respond with.
Yeah, this is interesting. Fizban would leave open Kennen, so they go with the Kennen ban since they don't want to have, the one thing TSM succeeded with so far in the tournament was the push priority on Kennen.
Definitely agree there. He showed a good Kennen performance. Now we need to see if Hanser actually practiced the Fizz, because that could surprise SKT, because I almost feel like Fizz is worthy of being banned over Galio, but of course, if he never really shows it.
To this final pick, maybe rough in the lane, but if he can get through it, should be okay for the deep wide impact. He's going to get locked in here for TSM.
Not a fan. Grefo shaking his head. Shen's going to have a really hard problem with the push up against Rumble, and that can really enable Peanut to do a lot of early invades to kind of take over that side of the map. So pretty dangerous pick there with Shen, although trying to go with the safety of it.
Yeah, if you're a team that relies on playing very heavily around topside to find your success in TSM, and you're making a pick that already was a bit of an annoying matchup on 7.6, now with the additional Shen nerfs, I feel SKT is really going to outperform TSM's topside, and that has been their step to success.
Well, there's the Twitch over for Bang, and there's actually an Orianna So Faker kind of challenging Bjergsen. He's saying, you can take Syndra if you want to. It's a matchup that I'm happy to compete with you in. I don't think there's a surprise here, though. I think Bjergsen's going to play one of his signature picks here. Syndra should be the lock-in, and TSM going to finish their draft.
Yeah, save until the counter pick so that Faker can't pull something like Echo into it. That is always the fear, or even a Fizz if they wanted to. The Orianna is Faker's most played champion of all time, so it is definitely something every good mid laner should be comfortable with, but Syndra is advantaged in this matchup.
One of the saving graces that we're seeing like running more of a 4-1 composition rather than a 1-3-1, meaning you don't have to juggle two side lanes all too often, and maybe you can fight your way out. That is something where TSM has a lot of strength in their team fight. If you look at what all these champions bring in terms of CC, potentially how they work together, TSM could win team fights.
Yeah, that's the thing. They have Shen. SKT doesn't have a top lane tank. The tankiest guy that's going to be on SKT is either Gold or Maiden. That's not comparable to the tank item Shen. The problem that TSM could run into later on in the game in team fights is the inability to reliably get to Bang's Twitch, who can actually wreck them in late game team fights, since Bang is a type who can fall very far behind in lane, even if he's on a difficult matchup.
And what I like about what SKT have done here in the draft is say, you know what, we can kind of build this really strong late game set of carries in the bottom half of our map. But we saw what Huni and Peanut were up to yesterday, particularly in their second game. They love to go a little crazy sometimes, particularly together, and they're set up to do that once again. Same combo, Rumble Lee Sin.
Yeah, the Rumble from Huni is always a fear. It's heavily banned anywhere in the world that he goes. European, LCS, NALCS, and even in the LCK.
I feel like it's been pimped out now too. Like back in the day, he was a great Rumble
ผู้
player.
จัดแสดงอนุญาตเอาแขกเท่านั้น
It was such a satisfying way to see how in the finals versus KT, he was routinely dodging 3-man roams to the top side, weaving himself in and out of fights, no longer just YOLO to the back line, do as much damage as I can and die in the process. So he really matured as a player, and I want to see that come to fruition on this Rumble.
So close to the LCK title. He's probably the third best Rumble. Unfortunately, Morin and Smith happen to be in his league as well, but he is no slouch on the champion, that's for sure. SKT versus TSM about to start up here on the Summoner's Rift for the first time here in the MSI group stage. And TSM are all together with a Braum. I know what this means.
Yeah, really good invade champion on Braum, especially when you're playing with Exhaust. Exhaust much better than Ignite early on, but they have been spotted, and Bang backs out.
Yeah, TSM's actually ran this level 1 a few times in the play-ins of MSI, and it has yet to find success. Invading 4 down bottom, especially when they don't ward, actually just gives away a lot of intel. So you can notice that SKT easily push in to get the ward onto TSM. TSM doesn't have a ward map, but this actually is pretty start to the jungle as far as intel.
Yeah, but we're still living in a world where top laners generally end up leashing, so it gives not that much additional information, right? Generally, you can extrapolate what happens in your own, especially if you look at like Lee Sin. You're also starting the Raptors very often, so while you get a ward, it's not like these teams at the highest level wouldn't have the
But every team should know what's kind of happening. Let's see, top side. Rough start for both Rumbles actually. Trying to get them up, I think. It does take a decent amount. Kazik should fare a little better.
Yeah, he goes a lot lower just starting Raptors as Lee Sin, so if you want to go for a high HP early gang, you do single target camps, you can really utilize a lot of that kit.
On the bottom lane, there's some trading happening. And finishing that camp up, looks like he's going to red. Peanut, we'll see where he wants to travel after this buff. I imagine there's a right side for him as well.
And I wonder if TSM again. That feels like a way to break that mold, because if you play super standard, eventually Phoenix is going to trace you.
Yeah, the trouble with that is, since they didn't have the same type of ward at Raptors, Peanut can quickly go in. So this is exactly what TSM would have wanted to avoid as far as the ward going in early. Svenskeren does have options after doing Raptors, even though it's usually red. This is a confirmation for Peanut that he can go for blue, and he's going to try and sneak this out. He easily gets it.
Yeah, he gets it, but the mirror is happening, which means right now the jungle is split vertically.
Yep.
But that's actually good for TSM, because they're playing on top side on a pushing lane in the Rumble, so I'm just not sure if it's the invade from SKT.
Yeah, it makes it dangerous for Huni to be out there. That's actually why he's fast-tracking back towards that side of the map. He knows what the danger is.
So might get caught here. This Finn gets greedy, going to move back down towards the walls. We'll spot Peanut now. Fury's going to hit.
Peanut's only level 2.
Hard time out. Yeah, damage is there, but the red buff's helping. Svenskeren gets a bit of a heal, but now Faker going to track him. Huni down first here, and the stun's not enough. There's first blood for Faker.
Double buffs going over to to Faker as well, and this was Svenskeren's Achilles heel throughout the split, is dying on an early invade.
Yeah, but just notice how fast Huni was there. Peanut, he lands the Q, holds for the maximum amount of time, but then commits. He knows all he needs to do is buy 2 or 3 more seconds for his side lanes to collapse.
Yeah, the collapse from SKT was near instantaneous because they had the pushing lane on the top side, which is also why when Svenskeren took the blue, he should have just fast-tracked it out of the jungle. The fact that he dilly-dallied around after getting blue and even allowed Peanut to land that Q is his fault, because after he kills blue, why is he going down to check?
Maybe he just feels like confident in the level advantage, but this is maybe where we analyze the invade from Peanut early, and he knows that he's been spotted, where then he knows, well, Svenskeren must be in my jungle, let's double collapse him, pincer him, and punish him, and maybe it was a trap set up by SKT here. Really great punish.
Well, great movement regardless by Peanut, and they are rewarded with double buffs and first blood here. Bjergsen going to struggle a lot more in the early stages of that matchup, as we see bottom lane still trading back and forth. Wolf not quite getting the passive proc, but CS nice and even to start it off.
That's the benefit of playing melee versus melee. It's much more likely to go even CS because it's much harder for you to kind of go for an all-in punish with these melee supports. However, they spike much harder on level 6. So that's what
the gank support that these guys can provide. Shen has pretty good teleport / alt presence at level 6 if we're thinking that happening, but at this point, Bjergsen just has to survive this early game blue buff Orianna, because not only does he have the double buffs now, the timing is going to be, he's essentially going to go back to base right after his blue expires and pick up another blue, just because of the way the double buff transfer worked.
Peanut actually sneaking in towards mid lane, might be trying something here, but Sven's also in as well, 2v2.
Peanut's perfectly there for counter gank.
Breaking out, Faker doesn't want to get stunned, but he's chasing Bjergsen back. Sven now going to get caught. Peanut
he's got no flash.
Just goes straight towards him, slow going to hit. Q's going to move in as well, he hops out of the way, but Peanut's still tagging him. Does commit to the Q at the end, and now Sven's going to try and turn it back around in isolation, but Bjerg, he's not coming. Sven's got no help at all. There's another kill.
The patience from Peanut is just oh so beautiful.
It absolutely is. Right there, Peanut knows that Faker's been pushing. He needs to be there for a counter game. And Peanut doesn't actually have high jungle proximity percentages, but he knows when he needs to be near his opponent, and he makes it count.
And that's why you need to dig deeper in that stat. Just because somebody's around the lanes a lot doesn't mean he's an efficient ganker. Peanut just really efficient in his pathing, clearing camps in between, but then showing up at the necessary moment. And that also speaks towards the communication from the other members. You need to be able to tell your jungle, do I need you now? Do I need you later? Just push out at me, or are you fine?
And I also have to call out Svenskeren for taking that specific jungle path, especially when your lane is behind. You don't need to come from that far back, because in the situation where the counter gank is there, he's just going to die.
Yeah, but that's because you get stuck in patterns. You're so used to ganking from behind the lane like that, because if it sticks, it's such a powerful gank. The problem is he's down a flash, and then you need to adapt. If you have flash in that situation, worst case when you get counter gank, you use your flash and you're out. The problem is
exactly he doesn't have flash, so he has to take a different route.
He's not adapting to what actually happened in the early game, and that's one of the strengths for SKT. They will always adapt. Flash down, flash up. We saw Faker yesterday get spam ganked, and the man just microed his way out of it.
And that's the thing, 1,500 gold out now for SKT, and that's all just been a cascade of the early game. Peanut, intelligent passing, moving back. The fact that Huni's pushing means that he can move down, and then the expected counter game, because Faker is pushing a lane that he would not be pushing if he didn't have double up. SKT, they know every situation already, and they play every little bit perfectly. Other than that, though, looks like an Infernal Drake is on the way, so 3 minutes for some more action, but CS looking good across the board here. SKT should be happy to sit on this little lead.
Yeah, they need to hang on right now. TSM's one way out is the level 6. Maybe for a forced play somewhere, combine the card control effects. Doesn't matter if somebody's far ahead, if you can never get a chance to even attack you, you can still eliminate them from the map.
Exactly. They have a little bit of a lack of damage in their overall team comp, especially if Bjergsen falls behind.
There's bang. Oh, good up there from Faker. Bjergsen forced to flash out. Firefrost actually roaming up as well, so matching the bottom lane coming up. But now actually a push starting in for SKT, perhaps big wave with 4 minutes in mid.
Yeah, this is what SKT always does. They get a fight and then they look at an objective, whether it's jump on a turret or maybe they go for a dragon here. They always play in function of objectives, and I almost felt like this was the old school Dignus style, where you blow all your ultis and you get the dragon. It does look like they're gonna forgo that Infernal Dragon and just focus on vision.
If they can gain control again of this side of the map, remember Hanzo doesn't have good push in the top lane on the Shen, so getting wards enables Huni to make more and more roams down into that side of the jungle, which also allows them to apply more and more pressure to mid lane. TSM generally have taken place through their solo lanes, and they're even invading the other side of the jungle.
They're invading both sides. They get their cake and they eat it too. They steal away the bus. Svenskeren under so much pressure right now.
And look how far back Turtle's playing. I mean, SKT just have this all lit up, and I just don't think Turtle knows how safe he could have been where he was. Instead, he backs up towards his tier 2 turret. SKT take everything off this play. I mean, if someone gets picked, they might even just take the Dragon, but instead, they will reset the map.
And Wolf hitting level 6 is also something we need to watch out for, because then you can, with that deep vision, you can use Abyssal Voyage to deliver Peanut behind lanes, maybe even guys down. And with that movement, where SKT is already so strong, they'll be even faster.
Yeah, you also just have to wonder how easily they can take Drake if they want to, but they're kind of slow playing it. They don't need an Infernal Drake to make anything happen. It's very advantageous with this team composition since Rumble is also an ability power user, but they're patiently just kind of biding their time and making sure they don't overcommit.
Looking again in bottom lane, goes invisible, but not quite getting it down. She's played, I think, just fine. Like you mentioned, Crepo, the melee support's kind of promote a little less action here.
Especially when you play versus a Shen. Like, you're not going to go all in on a Braum, Barrett's level 6 when they have Shen backup, so SKT is making it even.
It does feel like we're SKT built themselves a very strong lead based on all their early play, but TSM, I think, leaning on those ultis and kind of waiting for the next fight to start, whether that's around a Drake or the next invade that either team tries, we'll have to see. But right now, SKT in control, TSM, though, plenty of avenues to find themselves back in as Faker steals about all the Raptors but the big one.
Yeah, he just has so much control, and it's aided by the extra wards that they have. Here's that bot lane all in, though.
Oh, Wolf dies! He actually can't pop the Grey Health in the air! And now maybe a second stun is coming. Bang! Gonna get stunned up here as well. Invis for a little while longer, but Bifrost tracking him. Turtle wants it all. He's gonna try and go for it, but not enough to take the turret.
Peanut's coming, they'll have to be careful. What a fantastic all-in by TSM. They play around the Grey Health. He does not even get a chance to pop it, I believe. 3-6 as well here. TSM fighting back.
It looked like with the stun, either Wolf didn't press it or didn't have time to press it, but TSM wasn't ruled by the fact that Thompson does have standing during it, so SKT actually get a little bit over-aggressive. They exhaust Wild Turtle early on, but they don't get the damage through the Braum. Then the rest of it, it's actually a smart move there for TSM to focus the support early because of the burst, when often you're kind of told to only hit the AD in these situations.
Yeah, especially because he brings Devour to the party. That is the hard thing about laning against a Tahm Kench. Do I hit the AD carry? I hit Devour. So that's he has thick skin, like what do I do? But if you have this much crowd control, you can just one-shot him, and then the shield just blocks off any repercussions from Twitch.
Their ultimates are the things that can help them out. TSM's duo do come up with a kill for themselves. You can see Blade of the Ruin King now up for Bang.
The problem is it's never tied to a push into a turret or a rotation to an objective, because SKT, they put you under so much pressure that when you fight way out
Yeah, and here's the thing as well. Bang did the longsword potion start and has skipped boots, so he has the Blade of the Ruin King power spike. Even though Wild Turtle's a kill up and has 200 more gold, he still hasn't completed his Blade of the Ruin King because he did the Dorians as well as boot start. So TSM actually not having the power spike despite having the kill as they go for this Drake.
Be proactive about it. Instead, Drake under 40% health, but Wolf kind of in the area. Everyone's collapsing it for SKT. TSM get the Drake, but can they get out alive? Gonna have to lead together. Bang looking for a flank. Also, ultimate's ready there for Wolf, but actually a pretty clean take there.
Yeah, pretty huge that they're able to get that without SKT collapsing. Looks like they timed it a little bit with back to lane. Now is the question of how much pressure can SKT get back, because TSM invested all the time in the Drake, move back, they do not have the vision control, and they're slow kind of back to lane, so they have a lot of pressure, they can give enough to cover.
Noah's in a cadence. You push out, they have to defend, you take the objective, but meanwhile they push back. Now you're on a defensive, and they may be able to get something, whether it's deep vision, a roam, diving to Fog of War.
Yeah, and we're also getting pretty late into the game without seeing a teleport play or a stand united. Mooney and Hanser have just been kind of he doesn't have to fall back, but look at that turret slowly getting chipped away. If anyone roams up there or anything goes wrong, that's first turret to SKT.
And that's why Rumble's it's kind of a death by 1,000 cuts. You always push units, and you tell them you can help your bottom lane, but if you do, you will lose your turret. So at worst, you have an even play right there, and Snowball can silently match.
Turtle can't see the Twitch. Bang gets a hit though. Tahm Kench coming in as well. Turtle pumps the ultimate. He does have no flash for Bio. Gonna try and save him once again. Ulti's getting used. Wolf flashes into it. And that might see them getting away. Faker not there in time to die. But now top lane. There's Span looping on a Huni, but a great flash gets him out over the wall. Gonna have to move around the equalizer though. Once again, still move it down. But Peanut's gonna ready. Kick back in from Peanut. Gonna try and take down Horsa. Needs one more auto. Finds it. And now Span caught out 1v2. Cannot win this. Peanut grabs a double kill.
Oh, Houdini with with the perfect flash, he disappears, and then Peanut comes in and he saves the day. This is just outlast by SKT.
Peanut is always in the right spot, and the 1000th cut might come through in the bottom right here because every single one of TSM's outer tier turrets is about to fall.
And the cannon creep is going to go down here. Bjergsen counter pushing the top side, so they're only going to lose 2, but that's a big swinging goal.